Even though deer hunting season takes place at specific times throughout the year, being a committed deer hunter is a year-round activity. So why did I get into hunting? It's a pretty long answer to a pretty simple question. I got into hunting when I was a kid because I guess my dad did it, so that pretty much answers that question. But really, once I started getting into hunting with my dad, I realized there's a lot more that goes into it than what people think. It's not just about the quote-unquote kill. It's about kind of slowing down and appreciating nature and spending time outdoors with loved ones, taking it all in, and those experiences kind of roll into stories that get told year over year, generation after generation, and they kind of live on forever. So it's a really cool experience, and there's a lot that goes into hunting. So with all of the preparation that goes into deer hunting, as a public land deer hunter, it typically starts out with figuring out where you're going to hunt during the upcoming deer season. The internet has made this process much easier than it ever was in the past. It's still important to have a printed map of the land you intend on hunting for when you're out in the field. Most of the time your smartphone will do the trick, but there are those other times when you just can't get a cell signal and you'd hate to not know where you stand. So I'm out here on some public land. We're doing some deer scouting, and this is preparation for this coming season in 2016 for fall. And I want to just take a second and stop. We're going to be doing this a whole bunch today. But this is a buck rub. Anyone that's into hunting whitetail, you want to find these. This is a good sign here. So the way you would read this is an old scrape or an old rub, but you'd actually look at the height of this. And based on where I'm at here, this isn't so bad. You want to find the center point and figure out where that's at. It's about my knee. I'd say a better rub would be if it was probably up to here. That would indicate it's a bigger, larger animal because it's taller. Its rack is much larger. So this isn't a major, a really good rub, but it is a good sign that there's bucks in the area. So we'll keep looking for some more sign and enjoy the day. All the time in the world in front of a computer won't do you any good if you never get boots on the ground. You have to get out onto the land itself if you really want to understand what's going on. Once you spend time on a piece of property, you can get a better understanding of what route the deer are taking to and from water sources, food sources, and where they're bedding down. So the great thing about hunting is that there's no bugs in fall and winter. Typically there's a lot less. So that sucks for now, but we'll get through it. What I want to show you right now is this deer trail right here. So this is a high traffic highway, or deer highway that I would call it, where if you find these, you're basically going to try to pattern the animal and figure out where they're going, what their daily habits are. So this trail is either going to food or water. So we want to figure out when they're traversing this trail, either in the morning or the evening, coming to or from their bed to feed or to drink water. These are the kinds of things you want to look for in the woods when you're scouting for deer. So we're on to some good stuff today. Sometimes it's hard to know how difficult hunting can be. Deer can go wherever the heck they want. They don't need this kind of gear. So sometimes it's hard to follow them. But to get the big deer, this is the kind of stuff you need to do. You got to get in there. You got to get messy and dirty, and you got to work real hard, because a lot of the other hunters aren't going to be doing that kind of stuff, especially on public hunting land. So we're done with the scouting for today. But it's a lot of fun to just get out in this stuff. So that's scouting. So this is like a really cheap way to do some target practice. Is to just get some paper plates and some Sharpie markers, and you can kind of just create your own little bullseye here. isn't anything too special. But some targets are really expensive. And as a hunter, sometimes it's really important to know where to put your money. Things can add up pretty quick, and the target block can be well over $100. So this is a really nice way to do this. Something I've been doing for quite a few years. And there you have it. Here's our bullseye for today. Practicing is something that needs to be taken seriously and done year-round. When the opportunity arises for a shot, you need to be confident you can make an ethical kill. There's no feeling worse than injuring an innocent animal. Every practice shot taken helps build that confidence that when the time comes, you'll be able to take the one shot that counts the most. Alright, so we're shining for deer because at night deer are nocturnal, so you get a better sense for their activity and what they're doing. And there's one right there. You see its eyes reflecting back. Two of them actually. So, and you can tell a lot about their activity at night to get a sense of where they're going, depending on what time it is. And if they're laying down or if there's bucks nearby, a doe will likely not be laying down. This is not anywhere near deer hunting season, so the activity is going to be very different. But again, it's just important to get an idea and get eyes on the deer and see what they're actually doing in the area. What times they're active, where they're coming to and going from feeding areas and drinking areas. You can kind of shine around here and see if there's anything else out here. There's another one way back there. You can see its eyes reflecting back. It's hard with the window. We'll go back to these two here. But again, if I were to come here in the day, the odds of me seeing these deer pretty slim to none, realistically. And again, just getting an idea of what they're doing. So feeding patterns, if it's close to rut, you can get a really good idea if the rut's happening or not, based on if the doe are laying down bedded or if they're up and anxious, meaning they're being chased. So we're gonna go ahead and leave these deer be and get out of here so we're not bothering them too much. We don't want to stress them out. But that's what we're doing here, is just shining and getting a better, more in-depth kind of perspective on scouting.